Hey, good morning. Nathan Goodrich, Operations Section Chief with Northwest Team 3 with your lower Sugarloaf update this morning. So I'll start down here in Division Whiskey, kind of work up through Branch 3 here. So yesterday we did have some increased fire activity along the ridge here, Roaring Ridge, and then down towards Roaring Creek. And we've been talking about that over the last couple of days as being our most southeasterly, prominent fire edge. A fire is moving along this south slope of Roaring Creek, and it made a little bit of a lateral run across the bottom here, and then it made a run up the ridge, and got on top of the ridge here and got underneath the power lines, and those power lines were on, and so that limited us from being able to get in there initially. But we eventually got the power lines off, and crews were able to get in there and secure this and preserve some opportunities here in Quebec that I'll talk about a little bit later. So, but we have been having some increased fire activity, and folks probably saw that a little bit yesterday with some increased smoke production. You can see that from Iniat fairly well, and down in towards the Columbia, you can see that pretty good as well. Moving back over into Whiskey, those folks are continuing to keep up with this fire spread as it moves to the southeast. They initially started over here by French Corral, and they've been working along here. And, this is a lot bigger piece of ground than it looks like. So that's been progressing over the last week or so. They're going to be getting down here to DP 160 here before too long. And the plan is to continue down and again, kind of keep in front of that fire, or keep even with that fire spread as it moves around. A little bit more broken fuels out here. So we're not expecting this to move down as much, but this southerly aspect here wants to continue to move to the southeast. We're going to continue prepping this 52 road that follows the ridge line out to Chumstick Mountain, and then eventually down towards Dinkelman, where that runs out there. And so that's what the resources are going to be working on today in Whiskey. They're also going to be doing some continuing burning through this chunk here. As we move back into Alpha, this has been our focus for some time. This is looking really good in here, though, even though it's not showing black and contained. This has been fairly cold for a little while, so we're looking at putting some containment on the map here in the coming days. This piece of line here, where we were talking about taking it up to the 7804 road and out to these main roads, we were able to get in a little bit tighter and put some hand line in, and those folks have been working real hard and being diligent on this chunk here to keep it off that private land and away from those other values at risk. And so this is starting to look pretty good. It's taken a little bit of time for it to kind of burn itself out, and they're mopping things up in there. But we're just continue to progress to the north here in Alpha. And so there's another little piece here of Alpha that they need to take care of, and we were going to do that today, but there's a lot of other operations going on across the fire, so we're going to hold off on that, and we are going to start doing some burning up here in Mike. And so real close to where Alpha was talking, but we're trying to close these last little pieces of fire in here, the top of Second Creek and the very top end of the South Fork of Beaver Creek. So we're going to do a little bit of burning here in Division Mike and bring this fire down along our established lines and start closing this in here a little bit. And then I'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll do some more burning in this chunk here. And again, keeping it off our primary line that we had here. This has now become our alternate, and we're moving things in here to our primary line, which is effectively keeping it a little bit further away from some of those values at risk. They were able to access this 315 road and get folks in here right on this line. So they're going to start going direct on this piece. So that's starting to look pretty good. And this piece here has just kind of been sitting there. It hasn't been very active. And so we'll eventually get to that point, and we'll get folks in there on the ground to take care of that. Moving over into Oscar, resources have been working here about this drop point 74, the very top end of Indian Creek. They did a little bit of burning over the last couple of days, continuing to work on the prep work as it goes down the ridge. They're going to start closing this in here a little bit today, and then can start going down the actual ridge here in the next couple of days. So prep work's progressing very well all the way down here in about this DP 280 road, and then or drop point, and then we're going to drop this down to the main Tillicum Creek here eventually in the next couple days. So a little bit of burning here, a little bit of burning here in Mike on the northern part of Sugarloaf today. Coming down into Quebec, that's going to be our priority for the day. We've had some fire here around this 5801 road up Tillicum that was giving us some issues over the last couple of days. So we're gonna be working on this chunk here as well. And then the plan is to come across Moe Ridge, pretty prominent ridge right in this area here. And so this is going to be our priority in order to keep those fire, moving towards those values of risk down in Mad River and Ardenvohr. And so that's going to be the focus point here to try and connect these two pieces of fire with some dozer line and some existing roads today. And then aviation is going to be continuing to support this here as well as support Quebec. And I mentioned Sierra there. So quite a few operations going on today across the fire, burning in multiple divisions, but with the focus being over here in Quebec on the eastern edge. Had night resources in there last night on both sides, and things are looking good. They just had a couple of little spots here and there, but as I mentioned earlier, just kind of backing around on several different spots, and wasn't anything, rapid fire growth, anything like that last night. So things are looking pretty good. Still have our structure protection resources on both sides. The chum stick side, scattered out around the entire incident, and working to support the divisions. And then over here on the Iniat side as well, everything's in place as far as structure protection, and those folks are surging interior to help out the resources on the line as well. So that's your morning update for Sugarloaf. Have a good day.